This Hangout on air is now live. Welcome, everybody. Matt Monarch here in Ojai, California at the warehouse. Let's do this. Last second, right before I left the house, got pissed on and spit up on. Just made it here in 2 minutes to spare. All right, so just getting to the questions page, everyone, bear with me. And here we go. All right, ask your questions at news.therawfoodworld.com/live. We are here with the Raw Food World Hangout. Let's see if this newsletter even went out yet. I got to figure out a better time to send out this newsletter because it's not going out on time. Okay, so here we go. Jennifer S. writes, "Hey there, love your posts and videos. You really do an excellent job. Thank you very much. I have a question for you. I'll make a long story short. My husband and I were trying to have a baby over the last year. It wasn't happening, so we saw a doctor. I was given an HSG test to check the functionality of my tubes. Again, long story short. I was supposed to be given 5 days of antibiotics. I was given one pill and got a horrible infection. I then had ectopic pregnancy in November 1 week before our wedding. I was and am still devastated. Now my other tube has fluid in it, and a doctor at Mayo Clinic says she can say with absolute certainty that it's from the infection, and so is the ectopic. I also have a cyst that was found in August on my ovary. My sister has bilateral breast cancer at age 29, and they're worried mine could be an ovarian cancer." This whole entire industry is run on fear. Fear, I tell you. It's fed. It's not run on fear. It's fed by fear. Oh, because your sister, anyways, sorry. I want to heal naturally though. I'm so tired of doctors. I'm guessing you haven't watched any of the Hangouts. Just a note, it was not Mayo Clinic who I got the infection from. I'm wondering if you two know of any remedies I could try for the fluid in my tube or the cyst. I tried acupuncture and some herbs, but now found out the cyst is grown. I am lost. Any suggestions? Thank you very much. Love and light, Jennifer. Let me ask Crystal a question here. I'm trying to find out if this is from last week, this question, or what, but anyways. Okay, so oh, from Facebook. Okay. Okay, so this was posted by the Raw Food World, probably by Crystal here, and it was a Facebook question. Okay, just general. Okay, cool. We'll come back to this one, maybe. Okay, because she's not going to be watching this video. Okay, Kitty K writes, "Hi, Matt. I really hope you can help me with this question. About 2 months ago, I've been losing my appetite more and more, and I've been only eating one meal a day, and I almost have to force it down my throat. Also, my stomach hates alcohol now, and I drink anything but vodka and club soda. I get like alcohol poisoning the next day. Also, that's not funny. Also, my short-term memory has been getting worse and worse." Okay. Okay, so this doesn't have to do with being really clean. This just has to do with life in general. Also, my short-term memory has been getting worse and worse. Do you have any advice to cleanse my stomach and help with loss of appetite? Any advice or recommended products would be so welcome. Thank you so much, Matt. I love your hair. Thanks, Katie. Okay. I mean, it's difficult for me to advise when I don't know anything about what you're eating. Like, what's your diet like? And of course, if you drink alcohol, anybody who drinks alcohol is going to get alcohol poisoning. That's what it is. You get poisoned by alcohol. How old are you? I mean, I need more information, but I would be like, okay, first step, are you eating processed foods? How am I even supposed to advise? Like, I don't know anything. The goal would be probably to eliminate lots of stuff, and you want more of an appetite. Drink vegetable juice. Replace alcohol with green vegetable juice and carrot. You'll love it. You'll notice a huge difference. Half carrot, half greens. That's my advice to you regardless. That will stimulate your appetite. It will help improve digestion. It will get your appetite going most likely. So there you go, vegetable juice. Ask your questions, guys, or it's going to be an early night. Okay. So the next question is, where'd you go? Here it is. Hello, Matt. This is Junkyard Jim. I really hope you can recommend some products. Everybody wants a pill. Or diet changes to help me with this. It's an entire shift in complete being. It's a desire for life. It's like a shedding. Complete shedding. It's like the reason why the raw food diet works so well is because when you do this, you're ready to go. You have chosen what 99% of the population are not willing to choose. They normally choose pharmaceutical drugs and go through a degradation for the rest of their life. But then there's a select few that choose for more life. They want to heal naturally. They want to do other things. So they go hardcore with a healthy lifestyle. And in order to do this, you have to change your game. You have to change your thinking. You have to change your vibration. You have to change your spiritual focus. Everything transforms. And this is why there's such great success when doing the raw food diet or any improved dietary lifestyle and avoid processed foods. And then like serious spiritual healing takes place too. Okay. I really hope you can recommend some products or diet changes to help me with this. I'm a vegetarian and 22 years old and have polycystic kidney disease, renal insufficiency, chronic pain, cysts on my liver, chronic kidney stones, and 40% kidney function. Can you please recommend any diet supplement you carry that could help turn this around? Thank you so much for your time. I have seen many doctors and we haven't found anything that works. Of course. The doctors don't eliminate the cause of the situation. They give you something to calm the symptoms. You can't take something in order to heal. It's an entire transformation. It's not even just physical. Everything needs to change. So here we are. You have all of these certain issues. Now, the cause generally of all of these issues, especially polycystic issues and cysts and things like this, is generally from the intake of things that are damaging to the human body, which is generally processed foods, refined sugars, processed starches in high quantities. So the first step, Junkyard Jim, is to first eliminate processed foods. So now when you eliminate processed foods, which is refined sugar, processed starches, which includes bread, pastas, baked items, and stuff like this, when you eliminate these things, you stop pouring in the substances that cause cysts and things like this. If you could just stop that, that alone handles the situation. So there's so many diets on the market today, and I'm sure you've heard of many of them, such as the Zone diet, the macrobiotics diet, the South Beach diet, the Maker's diet, the list goes on and on and on. And all the creators of these diets claim to get results. They say people are healing from disease, losing weight by doing these diets. And to be honest with you, I've seen many people do all of these diets and heal from disease. And there's one common denominator on why they all succeed. And that common denominator is they all eliminate certain foods from the person's intake without any exception whatsoever. And the crazy thing about it all, every one of those diets I just mentioned, all eliminate the same exact foods. It's not rocket science here. This is why these diets work. They eliminate the foods that are damaging to the human body, and then they make all these other rules to make their diet stand out from all the others. I could seriously have people eliminate the processed foods that cause disease and create my own diet fad tomorrow. And so what you can do, Junkyard Gym, is go to news.therawfoodworld.com/live. And if you look to the top right here, it says healing, what does it say there? It says healing series number 1, number 2, and number 3. Number 1 will teach you about exactly how to, step-by-step, how to eliminate this stuff from your diet. And if you look above healing series number 1, 2, and 3, there's a whole foods list. If you can eliminate everything from your diet, but what is on this list, and this list includes an abundance of whole foods, cooked whole foods, there's eggs on there. There's chicken, fish, and turkey. There's goat's milk products. There's brown rice pasta. There's brown rice. There's baked potatoes. There's brown rice cakes, brown rice cakes. If you can eliminate everything from your diet, but what is on this whole foods list, Junkyard Gym, congratulations. You have the potential to heal from disease and end up not on pharmaceutical drugs or anything else, or incapacity in the long run, like 70% of humans as they become older today. And you probably won't end up senile, like 68% of Americans, 1 in 3 elderly. No, it went up 68% in the last 10 years. So that's the key right there. Cha-ching. And then if you watch Healing Series number 2, it talks about the superfoods and what they're good for and stuff like that. Number 3 talks about how to transform, do a whole spiritual transformation, all of this combined together, which is the most important out of all. All right, good. Here we go. Dear Matt, I have 2 items for March 29th Hangout, which is right now. I am pleased to report that I'm a proud new owner of an enema kit. Do you have any first-time tips? The most important thing when doing enema is many people think it's like you just want to hold the water in for as long as you can. That has nothing to do with it. You don't have to hold it in for any amount of time. The key is to get as much water in as possible. And I don't know if you got a 1.5 quart enema bag, but if you did, you probably would want to fill it. Try to, at some point, at first you have to empty the lower portion of your colon. So maybe that will be enough for that. But then when you do it a second time or a third time, you might want to pour more water in and get more in, because one bag doesn't fill up the entire colon. Okay, whatever. The focus work continues. A holistic nutritionist I am working with suggested that I not take the medical world and its messages of drugs and diagnosis. Personally, it's frustrating, to be honest, because there's always some limiting language that I have to live with. I think I'm engaging a more active resistance, a type of personal protection. Maybe this is part of the focus work. Ever since I was 18 years old, there have been these words, diagnoses of impairment, of failure. All of it is very connected to being a woman and fertility. Without venturing too deeply into therapeutic terrain, I feel it's a bit overwhelming at times. I know all of the steps you suggest and are positive movements forward, but I struggle. I welcome your thoughts. Thank you for all that you do and the example you set. All the best, Sammy. Okay. Okay, so there's all these spiritual healers out there. One thing that they do is they bring you back into old childhood transgressions or whatever they call it. I'm not even sure what the word is. They bring you back trying to get you to remember and heal little bits here and heal little bits there. To be honest, this is a waste of time. It's a complete waste of time. It is so ridiculous. The reason why I'm even bringing this up is because you're bringing the reason why you're having a rough time is because ever since you were 18, there have been these words diagnoses of impairment. And so it's almost like, woe is me. I have this issue because when I was 18, this, and this happened. Okay, what we have to do right here at this moment is a new life. It's almost like, don't look back. It's over, it's done. Looking back is attachment. It's gone. So it's like this. When you do this, I'm going to call it regression is what they call it. I said it's transgression. When you go back to your younger times to heal what your mom did to you or how you were treated when you were 18 and had these limitations and stuff like this, let's look at what they're doing. They bring up a situation that was painful in your past that doesn't exist anymore. And it's dissected and you go through pain and suffering, which gives them food. And maybe you heal this situation somehow to where you get past it. But let's look at this situation really quickly. When you look at this situation of when you were young and this child, and maybe your dad yelled at you, we'll say, just as an example, and was really harsh. And you're looking at that situation, what we're dealing with is a story with words. But forget stories with words, because that's just the logic realm. Stories, words are simply a language, and if you didn't speak that language, it would just sound like a blah blah da blah da blah da blah da blah blah blah. It's just a story. So what this does in this situation where you look at the story when you were younger that you went through pain and suffering, you're looking at the situation, you're trying to heal the story, the logical aspect of it. But if we look at it on another level, there's a suffering and pain there. And that suffering and pain exists in this story, this story, this story. So you're not trying to heal the story here. You're trying to understand the vibration, the things in the spirit world that have complete power and control over you because you submit to it every time into suffering and pain. So it's more like what you're trying to do is understand the vibration, the feeling, everything in the spirit world in regards to this. Forget the stories. That's just a waste of time and energy, and you're going to lose. You're losing. These healers are taking from you. They live off of this. They're not conscious of it completely. Well, some are, some aren't. But anyways, so here you are. If you understand the vibration and everything like this, then all the stories are healed. So this is why the focus work is so critical, because when you focus, what you do is you can feel you're aware, you feel if you focus, you're the one in your reality. When you focus, you can feel your entire reality. And this is where the learning and growing happens. And when this happens, you can start to learn all the different vibrations. And then when that happens, you're like, you could say no, or this or that. And before you know it, it's so funny because humanity has no idea what's really going on. It's like the blind leading the blind. And when you start on this path and you make it to a certain point, you're going to be tested. And guess what? You're going to go through, it's going to get really intense because you're being tested. But those intense times are not, it's more like excitement because you have the faith, the creator. There's no stopping you when you got that. The highest power is behind you. Nothing can hurt you. But the point is, that's how you advance. Woe is me is saying, I submit. I can't do this. I don't like this. Woe is me. I don't appreciate that I have to go through this. Me, for example, I'm like, yes. I'm like on the floor, like, yes. Pain and suffering. This is good. Let's go. I'm going to get through this. Bring it on. It's like that. Don't get me wrong. A couple months ago, I almost lost it. Then I had help. Someone came to me and helped me. Something. Okay. Janine Wingert writes, hello, Matt. We'd like to start by saying you have a very beautiful family. My daughter, who is 35, and myself, I am 53, have been on a raw food diet for over 5 months now. I'm a big fan of a certain person and have learned a lot from him. I work as a substitute teacher, and 3 weeks ago, I had the flu for a week. Had a hard time getting back on my feet, had some soup, and kind of fell from there. My husband, who does not take care of himself, thinks that I'm doing is nonsense. He drinks 2 cases of beer a week, smokes and eats fast foods, pizza, processed foods, lots of butter, and pasta. I have a very hard time convincing him to eat healthy. I have a good dehydrator, and I enjoy dehydrating kale seeds, vegetables, and fruit on low temperatures, and have no problem eating raw food. It makes it hard for me when he brings pizza in the house. I do really well, but today I had a piece. I've lived a life of very unhealthy eating, but I really want to better myself. I just don't know what to do to try to stop myself sometimes. Any suggestions to try to make this transition easier for me? Yes, I really want to do it. Willpower has never been a friend. Just knowing that I have a lot of energy and feel better about myself helps. I also have a lot of arthritis through my body, total knee replacement due to a lot of injuries from sports. So life change is something that I must do. Also, my daughter and I have not used shampoo or toothpaste for 1.5 years. I use an essential oil, heal my mouth for teeth, and water for my hair, which now is working terrifically. She's also has a 4-year-old and is 5 months pregnant and looking forward to having her child. and all raw food diet. Thank you for listening. Yes, Janine. All right, I hear you on your situation. Okay, so Janine, when a person tries to transform their life, because when you go on a raw food diet, you're not just transforming your, okay. I don't know, Janine, if you've watched any of my other Hangouts besides this one, but anyways, I'm just watching, listen, she's making more posts. Okay, so, okay. So when you're choosing to go on a raw food diet, you're not just choosing to go on a raw food diet, you are choosing more life, more energy, more spiritual life, more everything. And this is a huge transformation. And because you have that desire and fire within you, even though you're not making, it seems like you're making little progress, but you aren't, no, it sounds like you are doing really well. So when a person wants to change, transform into more life, energy, and all of these things, because raw food is simply just a diet. But it's a choice. It's the choice behind that. That fire is the true choice for more life. When you choose raw foods, you choose more life. When you choose any improvement, it's more life. And we live in a world to where it's more, it's like its mission is to keep us down from more life. Because when one of us gets more life, other things suffer and get less life. It's like almost like a trade-off. I know that doesn't make 100% sense, but anyways. So when a person wants more life, the system is going to put as much opposition towards that being to make them weak and not be able to do it in every way possible in order for them to fail, because their life is on the line. So with this understanding, in order to rise and have more life, it's raining here in California, pouring, by the way, then you better be prepared. You have to fight, you have to battle in order to get more life. It's literally spiritual advancement. And this is not judging. This has nothing to do with raw foods. A person can do this without raw foods whatsoever. It's eliminating patterns and going into a new way of life. So what is happening is you're shaking it up. You're shaking up your reality and the reality around you. And what is being seen here is this light that's trying to like blow up. And so now from all directions, you're being hit. And the hardest thing, that the easiest way to knock you down is through family. So guess what? All I can say is if you want to advance, have more life, advance spiritually, grow spiritually, shift spiritually, then you have to just do it and fight the opposition. And if you eat pizza, you didn't fail. But when you start to feel guilty about it and your spiritual energy goes down because guilt is just a spiraling down, then you failed. and you got to start over. It's almost like eating pizza, one slice of pizza for the first time, is actually a success if you react properly to it. How is this? So generally, when a person goes and improves their diet, all of a sudden, at some point, they go through crazy withdrawals. It's like detoxification is going through withdrawals. For example, when a person eliminates coffee, they get the coffee breath, they get the shakes, they get the headache, they go through withdrawals. It's that simple. They shake, and it's hard to deal with. And what they want is their fix, and they get their fix, and they're like, oh. And what this does is it completely stops the withdrawal process, and they feel so good, it's unbelievable. And at the same time, it completely stimulates them, and they're totally flying and having a good time. Probably happened when you ate the pizza. So what happens is when you go on this mission to improve your diet, here you are, you've improved your diet for a long period of time, and then the cravings hit in, all of these things are hitting you at the same time. And it's not just the cravings that hit you. There's a light here that's growing. And what happens is, not only are the cravings happening to where all these things are happening and these desires, but you're getting hit spiritually from the spirit world because they don't want you to advance. And then your husband comes in and aids in that process. He doesn't, you know, he's good intent, whatever. He doesn't know what's going on. I mean, there's lots of things happening. It's almost like when we get in an argument with somebody, I'm right. That feeling like just overcomes us, and it fuels us to want to like argue because of that feeling of, oh, I'm right. It's like, what is that? That vibration comes in, and most people automatically react to go into the argument. So if we focus and we start to learn these vibrations that we're always talking about, and we see it coming, we'd be like, no, and then just like wait for it to stop, and then we don't get into the argument. But most people aren't able to understand this and do that. So what's happening when all of a sudden that vibration comes into your husband, he's not conscious of this. He's not doing anything wrong. He's just, you see? So, you want life? Then you got to fight for it. It's that simple. And all of a sudden the cravings come in, spiritual vibration is pouring upon you. It feels like you're weak. Your husband's barking at you, and you're sitting here. You eat the pizza. You didn't fail unless you fall into guilt. But if you look at it in a totally different way, like all of a sudden, all of this is going on right now where you want to eat that pizza. Focus, and when you focus, you can feel your entire reality. And you can't control yourself, or you don't have the willpower, but you can understand and feel all the vibrations at this moment in time where you can't go anymore. If you focus and look and understand the pain and suffering that you're going through that is getting you to eat this pizza, if you can actually stick with this pain and suffering, because this food will actually stop it, the pain and suffering on some level. But it turns into another form of pain and suffering, which drains you spiritually, which is guilt. And then you go back down, because when you start to rise, you feel more spiritual energy and vibration, and you feel more life, and this is great, but you also feel the bad at the same time. So this is the rising and fighting and understanding this. At this moment in time, you've got to stand in the midst of all of this. And so here you are in the midst, okay, now you're learning something. You're focusing, I'm about to eat this pizza. My husband's barking at me. I feel that ow right there. Understand that, not the words that your husband is saying, but the vibration, the feeling that you feel from it. Have dominion over it. Because if you don't have dominion over that, you're never going to succeed. And then there's spiritual energy trying to stop you at the same time. Understand the whole collective of everything. Oh, that's just a vibration. There's nothing to fear. Oh, lack of willpower is just a vibration. It's a fear. If you can stand with it and be with it for the rest of your life, then you have dominion over it. It's not going to be there for the rest of your life, but have this understanding of being in the midst of it and okay with it, and okay with it being there. With faith and just like, and this is the battle. And then, okay, so big deal. You physically eat the pizza. Celebrate. Whoa, I just learned something. I feel great because I'm stimulated and stuff like this. It stopped the withdrawals. I'm actually feeling pretty good here. This is the furthest I've ever made it on a cooked whole foods diet or raw foods diet up until this point. It's almost like doing a video game when you make it to the Super Mario Brothers dragon and then you lost in this little game. So now what you do is, I'm going to try again. And you play the video game until you're back at this point. To get to this point, firstly, to where you can't control yourself, where you eat a piece of pizza, is incredible. You made it so far in the video game, you're rare. Nobody makes it there. They don't even want to play. They just want to eat and take pharmaceutical drugs. So you made it. And then it's like, okay, let's try again. I'm excited to get to that point where I can't control myself anymore, so I can learn more. And then all of a sudden you make it, you're like, wow, I remember that vibration of my husband and that vibration and this vibration. I can stand in this. And then you last like 2 more days. And then you do it again. And then this is the video game. And then it's how you react after you eat the pizza also. Because then the vibration of guilt comes in, which is a foreign thing. It's not. And if you react to it, then you go into guilt and then blah, 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 blah. You lost the video game real bad. You have to start all the way from the very, very beginning. You see what I'm saying? So it's okay. It's like shift that into a celebration. When guilt comes in, no, fight the guilt. I just did so well. This is incredible. And here you are, they're trying to get you on arthritis meds. You think this is good? No, you're fighting that too. I'm telling you, it's coming at all angles. Even the doctors, we're talking about these, and you should go back and watch like 4 Hangouts ago, where we talk about the placebo effect and how it can work for you. People take a pill and they take this pill, and all of a sudden, based on belief, and though there's no active ingredients, they heal. People, they did a test where they said this drug will heal you from cancer. 70% of the people heal from cancer from taking something that didn't have anything but sugar in it. People did a knee surgery. 80% of the people in the placebo test healed with a fake knee surgery. 80% of the people who got the knee surgery healed. So the knee surgery was deemed useless. The placebo effect is extremely strong, but it also can work against us. If you go to the hospital and they tell you have arthritis and you need drugs, or they tell you have a thyroid issue, or you have 6 months to live, generally all of a sudden a person goes into fear, spiritual openings happen, and then it's the placebo effect working against them. It's like they end up dying within 6 months because the doctor said they would. So when it comes to that type of thing, it's all a spiritual ballgame. No, I don't accept arthritis. I don't have arthritis. The body needs to be repaired physically. It's like, it's our vehicle. It needs sleep. If we don't treat it good, we're going to have some aches and pains. You want to improve your body and you're wanting to make these choices. That's what you got to do. Drugs, what is that going to do? You're still eating the pizza. That's the cause of the issue, along with all the other things that we eat. Anyways, so look, if you want more life, you've got to fight for it. It's the rare few that rise their head above the system that take it to the next level. And it's not just this physical pizza eating. Many of us are doing things that are not the most ideal for our health. For example, these arguments that we get into because of this vibration of I am right or whatever comes in hurts us physically, spiritually, and emotionally. It drains our spiritual energy. If we allow people to walk all over our boundaries, they're draining our energy. They probably aren't conscious of it, but this is what's happening. Someone comes and walks in your house without knocking. They sit on your sofa. They go and eat your food without asking. It doesn't feel good. You haven't set your boundaries. They're just like, you're giving your energy away. Other examples is guilt. That vibration, our energy is draining. Spiritual energy is draining. This hurts our physical, spiritual life. We're stuck in, we can't build spiritual energy, so we can't advance. And the list just goes on and on and on. Power, greed, insecurity is a big one. Oh, I'm overweight. Oh, I have this thyroid issue. Woe is me. There's nothing I can do. I'm always trying. There's nothing. The person with the thyroid issue and the person who is always worried about being overweight has the same disease. The person who worries about Lyme's and cancer has the same disease as the person who worries about their weight, because these Lyme's disease and cancer and overweight are just words, but they're all feeling the same exact vibration of insecurity. I'm not good enough. There's nothing I could do. I feel helpless, useless, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying here? That's the root of the disease. No, I don't have cancer. No, I'm not overweight. In the 1700s, obese women were the painted women on pictures. And that was the beautiful icon of a woman. If that all of a sudden happened to be the new beautiful, everyone would try to gain weight. And then if you make it to this part of what the magazines put out today, you can be like, oh, I'm too skinny, or I didn't make it far enough. No, the disease is not the weight. It's not until you heal that ow about it to where you don't even care about your weight anymore, then the weight comes off. Because you healed the root of the problem, which is the spiritual aspect. That's the suffering. Suffering is not, oh, I have a lot of weight. It's the suffering you go through because you think the reason why is because you're overweight. Just old wounds are being played into spiritually to where you suffer, and it's just like this. It's the same thing of the person who feels the vibration of I am right, and then they react a certain way. It's the same thing of a person who worries about their weight. That vibration comes in, and you just follow into the trap. Energy's drained. And the greatest, grandest of them all, which I always talk about. You're a married person, you're walking down the street, and the opposite sex comes up to you. You've never seen this person in your life, and they pay you the most incredible compliment. And this isn't just like a compliment. Oh, you know what? You did good in the business meeting today. No, they're like, you are looking like a compliment that, you see what I'm saying here? It was serious. And then all of a sudden your hormones go. It's just a natural bodily reaction, that's fine. We have a choice at this moment in time. One, you can focus now and feel your entire reality and kind of like stop it in its tracks before it gets out of hand. Kind of like you would stop anger. If a person gets angry, like, grrr, they get angry, you could just focus and watch it kind of dissipate. And it goes away. We've all stopped anger before. It's the same kind of aspect. Or you can just go crazy rampant and be angry. We've seen people who can't control their anger and they just go absolutely ballistic. Or, so you made this choice to stop this in its tracks, or you start to loop this compliment in your head. And you're like, oh, that felt so good. And then you loop it, and you get these tingly vibrations and these feelings, and they feel so good thinking about how this compliment and what fantasizing and all these other things. And you get these tingly vibrations. Those tingly vibrations is your energy going away. It's your energy being drained. Boom. Another way we can lose energy. All of these things, 99% of Americans, 99% of people are playing with. It's not like you're evil. There's just a cause and effect in the spirit world. When you do these things, all of a sudden you're angry at someone. You have this chip on your shoulder because they did you wrong. You don't want to be in that state. It's uncomfortable, but unless they bow down to you and say sorry, this chip on your shoulder ain't going nowhere. Unfortunately, your energy is being drained, and the way to get out of this, maybe a technique you could use, even though I don't like techniques, you can say sorry to that person because you're the one directing negative energy at them, but you're stuck in this thing like, no, that's your energy being drained. You're stuck there. It almost feels impossible to get out of. So we do all of these different things, and the cause and effect is you lose spiritual energy. And when you lose spiritual energy, you have less power in the spirit world. And with less power in the spirit world, there is more suffering. Let me turn off my Skype. Because you don't have the power to combat guilt or these other things that are causing guilt or these things. And that's why we want to avoid this cause and effect, and we end up in this spiritual loop to where we're not advancing anymore. We're just sitting here going through the same thing because all of a sudden you're sitting there, you just played and tingly vibrations. These are the frills of life that we think are frills of life, but it's really our energy going away. You're not doing anything. It's not wrong or right here. It's just cause and effect. You do that, energy drains. That's simple. So you do that, you have no energy, and then you're sitting there in your car all by yourself. We've all been here, and you're like, oh, life sucks. Because you don't have the spiritual energy, so you're just like drained to the bone, and you're just miserable because you can't stand up or anything. And you're looping in your head, how can I make my life better? How can I make my life better? And you're just like plugged into this thing. And no logical thought can help you here. We got to focus and feel our reality and look at the suffering and pain, identify it, and figure out how spiritually to get it out in the spirit world. All this, our greatest spiritual weapon is our focus. So we go through our day. We're busy focusing at work and things like this. We build up spiritual energy because we're focusing. We're not playing with things and getting our energy drained. And then all of a sudden we start to build up energy, spiritual energy, and we're starting to feel good now. We look better. People are complimenting us more, and people are really complimenting us more. Ironically, all of a sudden you've built up all this spiritual energy. Guess what is here? That's food. That's currency. That's spiritual currency. You're doing great. And guess what? Ironically, right at this point, when you're feeling the best and you have all the spiritual energy is when you get that compliment. And then your energy gets drained, and this is the loop. Maybe it's not that compliment. Maybe it's like, okay, now the argument happens. Food is there. Oh, let's just push that button, bring that energy in, down. Oh, let's just push that button. You see what I'm saying? So we're in this loop. So there's two things to get out of this loop that we need to do. And this also has to do with disease, because disease is also a spiritual thing. What we're going to do is talk about why disease is a spiritual thing, and then we're going to give the two things that we need to do to advance spiritually and get out of this loop. Back to the placebo effect. So as we were just discussing, people are healing from cancer. knee surgeries, all sorts of diseases by taking a sugar pill based on belief they heal from disease. How is this possible? But then what is happening even more often is people are dying of disease because of the placebo working against them. It's this entire rampant system that is making this happen. It starts in your own home. Woe is me, I've got arthritis, or I've got pain in my body. Now, pain in my body is normal. Everybody experiences it. When you start to rise spiritually, everything is going to be attacking you left and right, and it can even result in physical pain because the spiritual and the physical are so close we don't even realize it. And then it brings in the vibration of a thought like, oh, I have an issue. So it's all of this energy is getting you to go to the doctor. And then the major spiritual attack happens. You go to the doctor and they tell you you have a thyroid disease. Here is a paper with black ink on it from the blood test we just took that shows you that you have a disease. Now, if you didn't speak this language, what just happened was a man came up to you with a piece of paper with black ink on it. In caveman times, that wouldn't have worked. In caveman times, this disease didn't even exist. So you believe because of a blah, 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 that you have disease. When it's just black ink and a piece of paper and a man saying a sentence. But there's something much deeper going on besides that. The Tony Robbins example. Tony Robbins was told he had a tumor on his pituitary gland, and that's why he grew really big. His hands that's why he has a deep voice. That's why he's like 6'8" or something. And they told him it's not looking good. We have to do surgery, blah, 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 blah. You know what Tony Robbins did right at that moment? He said, no, I don't accept that. He got 100 different doctors' opinions. To this day, Tony Robbins supposedly has this tumor on his pituitary gland. He doesn't even look at it. Does this look like a man who is dying of cancer? No. It doesn't even exist to him. But most people, if they had a tumor on their brain, they'd be freaking out and they would end up dead in 6 months. He said, no, I don't accept that. So when you go to the doctor and they tell you you have a thyroid disease or Lyme disease or arthritis or whatever it is with this piece of paper, what is happening is there's a spiritual attack on your life and you cannot let it in, which is what you're doing here with the arthritis. You said, no, I don't accept that. It's not the piece of paper with the writing on it, because it's just ink, it means nothing. The sentence, if you didn't speak English, would mean nothing also. But when he says this with this, there's an entire 6-dimensional experience you go through, which is beyond the physical eyesight of this and blah, 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 blah. It's a spiritual attack, and if you focus and feel at this moment, fear overcomes you. And it's at this moment where you either accept or no. And most people accept and say, okay, I'll go into chemo, and they die perfectly within 6 months after the doctor just told them they have 6 months to live. Oh, you have a thyroid disease? This is why I'm overweight. This is their new disease for the rest of their life. For the rest of their life, thyroid disease. Based on that one moment period of time, they're worried about their thyroid disease forever. There's no healing it. They discovered this new supplement or this drug, pharmaceutical drug. But in the end, it doesn't do anything. It's their new condition forever. No, I don't have thyroid disease. I don't have any issue. So what's going on here? Why does the placebo work for us and against us? What is happening here? Well, science has no idea why the placebo effect works, because it happens in the spiritual realm. And science wants to, first of all, keep you away from the spiritual realm, and it doesn't have eyes in the spiritual realm. It's blinded. And it's purposefully done so to prevent you from going there. You want to fight for more life? Then you better stand up and fight against the system, against everything. So here you are. Why does the placebo effect work? It makes no logical sense. Science says, okay, you're in a flight or fright state, so certain mechanisms of your body aren't working because you need your muscles and you got to run from the tiger or whatever you got to do. So you lose your healing mechanisms and there's more adrenaline, you're pumping out more poisons, and so therefore you have this disease. And then when the doctor tells you from the placebo effect, this drug will heal you, all of a sudden you can go, oh, and relax and everything's better. You go out of flight or fright state and then all of a sudden your body heals because now your other mechanisms are working, there's less adrenaline, things like this. That's what science has come up with. And it makes no logical sense. It's a theory, but it's absolutely false. If the placebo effect works, Janine, then because of this state, if a person has 3 ailments and they go into this flight or fright state and then all of a sudden they're relaxed, the placebo effect is specific. It only heals the one thing that you take the placebo pill for. So if a person has 3 ailments, they take the placebo effect, they go in from a flight or fright state and they relax, all 3 ailments should heal. But it doesn't, it's just the one. A knee surgery heals a knee. A fake knee surgery heals a knee based on placebo, but it doesn't heal everything else. It's specific. And many people with 9-to-5 jobs are in flight or fright all day long. Why aren't they have disease? A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. It's a false theory. It's impossible to prove this, because what is happening in the world that is invisible, that can't be seen with the human eye. There's a world that is just as real as this physical world. And what is going down here is happening on a spiritual level. All of this that is happening right now is happening on a spiritual level. Welcome to the Matrix. People who do yoga or believe in kindness to animals and are vegans, they think they're out of the Matrix, but they don't realize how deeply rooted they are because of their beliefs on these things. The judging they do on other people is another form of all of these things we're talking about. Who is the determiner of evil? Not the vegan thing. Anyways. So, what is happening here then? Why do only one disease heal out of all 3? Well, many different scriptures out there in religions and things like this kind of go into this type of thing. Like, for example, in shamanistic traditions, they state that when a person has a hole or a spiritual opening, foreign things can enter in and latch on. And then physical ailments can occur. Shamanistic traditions goes as far as to say that cancer is a black spirit that overtakes a person. In the Bible, Jesus Christ would go remove a demon or spirit or whatever it is, and then heal a person from being blind, from all diseases. What is going down here is going down on the spiritual level. And you think these old times are of the past? No. This is all going on right now. Our eyes are just dull, and so are our hearts. So here we are. All of a sudden, you're at the doctor. And he comes to you, and then you feel you have a thyroid issue. Generally, a person, spiritual opening. Guess right where? Right where they told their thyroid issue, And then what happens? Over time, the physical ailment actually presents itself. What is going down is on a spiritual level, and we can't let it in. And if we have let it in, this is the spiritual work that we need to do to get it out. And now I can go into the two methods of how to do this. They're both very powerful. The first one is extremely powerful. I mean, ridiculously powerful. We've already gone over it in this Hangout. And then the one after that blows this one away by exponentially 1,000,000 times more powerful than this. We're talking infinity and beyond, because you can't even compare it. So the first extremely powerful one, and then we'll talk about the infinity and beyond one. Our greatest spiritual weapon in the spirit world is our focus. When you're in that moment, when all of a sudden this is all going down, Tony Robbins knew that his life was on the line. He said, no. He felt something going on. So here we are. We have our reality. We are the ones in the midst of it who experience everything. We experience everything in our reality. And if we focus, we can actually, we get out of our mind where we're totally in oblivion and gone. Because remember, we were talking about being miserable in our car. How can we make our life better? How can, these logical thoughts aren't going to help you here. What's going to happen is there's suffering and pain there, and we're gone because we don't want to feel the suffering and pain, but that's simply our energy being drained, unfortunately. So all of a sudden we're driving, how can we make life? No, we got to focus. Wait a minute. No, all of a sudden you're focusing, you get out of your mind, and now you can actually feel, you can look for it, identify the pain, the real pain and suffering that's actually going on. Because you not having money, or a girlfriend, or a boyfriend, or whatever it is, or you're being overweight, are just words. That is not the pain and suffering going on. But if you focus and get rid of the nonsense and actually feel, there's the pain and suffering just sitting there. And it's a feeling right there, right now, within your spiritual body. And you focus, you can identify, oh, there it is. And most people, when they okay, let's try this, they focus, oh, that hurts so much. How can I make my life better? How can I make my life better? No, I want more life. And then you identify it. Okay, there it is. The first step is to identify the pain and suffering within us. And then the next step is to figure out on how the heck to get it out of there. And the grandest, greatest spiritual weapon we have is our focus. Maybe there's so many situations and scenarios that happen in the spirit world. So there's many different things that we have to do for each situation. This is the growing and learning, to where we grow and have an understanding, just as like this vibration comes in and we understand it now, to where we don't fall prey to it anymore and are not controlled by it anymore and get into that argument or worry about our weight or worry about our thyroid issue. We learn in the spirit world by focusing. And then we get dominion over it when it has no impact on us anymore from understanding. And then you've reached a new level spiritually, because energy doesn't get drained anymore because you don't fall for it. And when you do fall for it, it's okay. You just have to get back on the horse and go again. And there's a way, which is the second thing we're going to talk about, on how to get back on the horse right where you left off, to where you don't have to start from square one. That's the second thing we're about to talk about. But let's go back to this focus thing because it's critical. So you identify it, and we have to figure out what's going on here. Sometimes we have to stare it down until it's totally gone and cleaned out. And then once that's done, maybe you're supposed to not look for it again because you're inviting it back. Or maybe you're supposed to look at it, but not look at it in different situations. Or maybe you've gotten everything out, and then all of a sudden that vibration that gets us to get in an argument, no, we have to say no. Or something comes in, no, we know that doesn't serve us. As soon as that vibration of whatever comes in to get us to do something, like worry about our weight, guilt, or no, I'm not subject to that anymore. I don't accept that. And if you accidentally fall for it, it's in and you're like experiencing it, it's like a roller coaster ride. You just have to keep doing the focus work while you're in the midst of worrying, which you think is you, but it isn't you, until bam. There's so many situations and scenarios in the spirit world. We've got to learn all of this. So here we are, doing this, and maybe you have this thyroid issue because of what happened at the doctor and you let this thing in. Maybe we have to sit here and look at your thyroid at the physical point of injury and stare. We're not saying like get a mirror out and look at your thyroid. No, the area with your spiritual eye, which is more real than these physical eyes, and then stare. And then all of a sudden you feel this energy moving. It gets intense and pain. And it's almost like we have to sit with it and stare. We just let this thing in. It does not want to get out. It is food for this thing. It's almost like you've got to stare it down. And then finally you get this thing out after much pain and suffering. It's almost like going through surgery. But then you can't let it back in. And if you worry about your thyroid, that's the root of the disease. That's the entry. It's almost like, no, I don't have a thyroid issue. And then once you clear it out, you don't want to be looking for it again. You never want to look there again. And see, this can get very complicated. And there's so much uncertainty. And we have so many foreign thoughts running around our brains that are not even really ours. For example, let's say you're walking through the house, you're hanging out there, you're not focusing your best, and all of a sudden you get this thought to take the scissors and stab the dog. Now, obviously, we're not going to react on that thought, but where did it come from? We would not purposefully want to think to take the scissors and stab the dog. No, these are foreign thoughts. And these foreign thoughts are not just a whisper in the ear. They come in as a six-dimensional experience, an urge, a desire, a totally vibration to where you almost take the scissors and stop. No, you say. I don't know. And this is what we're up against. So you're sitting here trying to figure out this thyroid thing. You clear it. And then you don't want to look again, but then these foreign thoughts are, oh, my thyroid issue, blah, blah. It's like a mayhem. It might be years before you get it down. It might be a second. But this is the first thing we can do. And now, which is extremely powerful. This is doing the spiritual work. But now what we're going to talk about is the thing that's infinity and beyond. And we're going to talk about it in a completely different way. Everything, there's a lot of the same stuff with these hangouts, but there's always something new. And then we're going to hit all these questions. So, it left me, but it will come back. So the infinity and beyond. So we do all of these different things that might not be ideal for us because of the cause and effect in the spirit realm. For example, we get in the argument, we love the power over somebody else when we have this chip on our shoulder, greed or fantasizing, you're a married person, you fantasize about other people, or all of these different things that are not necessarily favorable to do, but we still do it because it's almost like a crack addiction. And what we live for, a lot of people live for, are those frills, which is just a little poof of our energy dissipating. It's like an orgasm almost. And it's almost like this addiction. It's almost like we're ill or something. But we don't really understand. And all these things, we get these frills that we get to experience, but the end result is suffering. And when you start to do this spiritual work, and you stop doing these things and you build up the energy, all of a sudden you're going to experience something that you've never experienced before. And that's peace. And I'm not talking about peace like you have peace here, peace there. We're talking like real peace that you've never experienced before in your life. Feelings, vibrations that leave permanently that you didn't even realize were there because it's there on an ongoing basis. Yes. And this is the true beginning of being removed from the matrix. And now the infinity and beyond. So we do all these cause and effect things that aren't the most ideal. And a lot of you are probably saying, you know what, I don't do these cause and effect things. I try to do my best. And we do. A lot of the time we're doing things unconsciously. And it's through what I'm about to tell you that enables us to not only become more conscious, but to really change. And this is the new thing that it's really hard to put forth. It's almost like we're so conditioned and used to doing certain things that are not like the most ideal in the spiritual world, which the cause and effect is suffering, that we believe we're almost not doing them because it's like part of our existence and life. And that's the change we need to make, the conscious choice. And so now, and we're going to probably hit this a little bit deeper after I go into this infinity and beyond. So this, what I'm about to show you right now, if you do this, not only will it enable you, Janine, to have the strength to get more life, to maybe not eat the pizza, or just to get what you're trying to accomplish. If a person is trying to heal from disease, this is ideal. If a person wants to advance spiritually, what I'm about to show you has the potential to bring you eons and eons, years, decades, lifetimes further ahead spiritually than you've ever thought fathomably possible. By doing this, nothing compares to this. And here it is. Oh, all right. Here we go. Up until this point, I have done this, this, and this. I know it is not in your ways, ideally. I had no idea that you were watching every last thing that I did. And I had no idea that this was impacting my growth, my spiritual growth. I am sorry. I am so sorry. My entire mere existence is sorrowful and sorry. I am sorry that I did this. From this moment forward, I am going to be doing this, this, and this. This is a thing of the past. This is already done. I am so excited. Nothing is more important for me in order to change. I am going to be doing this, this, and this. It's already done. Please consider me to move forward spiritually in the most gentle and easy way possible. Please consider me to be of more service to where I can have more life in order to serve you. Please consider me in helping me and teaching me how to heal my disease. Please heal my disease. I am sorry, and I am totally changed from here on out. This, and this. Please consider me for moving ahead spiritually in most gentle. Thank you. Infinity and beyond. Now, if you were to do this, not just do what I just did, but actually change and make this choice ongoing to where it becomes part of your blood, then, and this is just the new way, nothing is more important to you than this. It's almost like a vow. And yes, foreign thoughts are going to come into where you think you screw up and all these other things, and we're not perfect. We might mess up here and all these other things. Remember I said, if you mess up, there's a way to not start back at square one. Oh man, I just saw what I did. I learned from it. I'm going to try over and over again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I learned from it. Let's not make you lose all that spiritual energy to where you have to start all over again. Anything is possible. I don't call the shots. But I've seen it happen over and over again to many people, including myself. So, and who I'm speaking to is the creator of all existence, not anything else. The highest spirit, some people call him God, the creator of all living things, the power, the highest power. This is what I'm talking to. This is who we've got to be doing that to. Nothing else, or that's going to be a big detriment. So, yes. We covered it. And it's a war zone out there. And if you want more life, Janine, then you got to fight for it. You have got to fight for it. All right, let's blow through these questions now. Here we go. Kristen Juarez writes, Matt, thank you for your time on these Hangouts and sourcing amazing products through your store. My question is, how do you like living in Ecuador long term? I'm in California right now, but yeah. My husband and I homeschool 2 kids and are looking to travel for a while and see how that goes. We've been to Costa Rica and really enjoy it there. Do you recommend Ecuador to live short term? Any specific cities? Any other countries you find interesting to visit for extended periods of time? Thanks for any insight. Yeah, I think Vilcabamba is it's my favorite place on earth right now. I've been to a lot of places. I just love it there. There is some sort of protection there. There's a lot of spiritual vibration going on, very clean air, high density, nutritional density of food, things like this. There's also a lot of other great places around the world. Me personally, my home is the creator, and whatever I need to be doing is where I'm at. I'm here in California, been here for 6 months. I could be in Ecuador, but my drive isn't that. Yeah, I've been all over the world, but that would definitely be my favorite place. Maka Matt writes cotton, all right. Milda McGum writes, hey, really thankful that you are doing these Hangouts. It really helps people. I was thinking for a while to study holistic nutrition, and any suggestions on schools? Everybody is promoting integrative nutrition school, but I think they have too much marketing going on. Yeah, it's kind of like a cool thing to do. But what do you like? As I understand, most of the natural healers and self-taught, or there is a school college for this. I'm currently reading Norman Walker's books, have read some of the vegan diet promoting books, and I do believe in vegan diet, mostly eating raw. Okay. Milda. Okay, so me personally, if I would have, I mean, I did what I did, and what I did. I went to college, was in a fraternity, it was an incredible experience. But if I would have went straight into business without any schooling whatsoever in college, I probably would be even further, I'd be ahead of the game. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of school, but in your position, if you were to get the integrative nutrition studies done, like what's the purpose of that? So you have like a background and you tell like people that you're a nutritionist? I mean, in this day and age, it's either you got the letters behind your name or you don't. And this this school isn't going to do that. However, it can give you some sort of platform to where you have an understanding of the certain things that they teach there. And you could say that you did this, and it helps people feel more comfortable if you're a nutritionist. So it could definitely be a good thing. Or you can go full straight out and get letters behind your name, like an MD or ND or things like that. PhD. But to be honest with you, I don't have any letters. People are listening to me. I'm talking about hocus pocus. All right. So I would go into business and maybe study on your own or do the integrative nutrition thing. It might be good for you. We'd have to have like a talk what you want more. So I hope that helps. I give like lots of options and scenarios there. One of the viewers writes, like what you mean is something like EMDR hypnosis. They want you to relive the trauma so you can heal it. They probably like the trauma-built pathways in the brain, and then left to right brain. You have pods in your hand that vibrate, supposed to take it out of the brain. I tried a few times with the therapist who guides it. I thought it was kind of cool. You feel queasy afterwards. I wonder what happened. Why do you feel queasy afterwards? What happens is when we play with those frills, we feel really good at that moment in time. And it's almost like it leaves like an intoxicating effect. It's almost like getting bitten by the snake. And it feels good for a little bit. And then after time, you're just like, ugh. But the venom is left behind to give you the feeling like something good happened. And you're totally you're played. Amy writes, do you use coconut nectar and coconut aminos? How do you use buckwheat groats? I bought Earthbound's vegan butter for my potatoes. Is that okay? What's up, Amy? Yes, I'll use coconut nectar and aminos on occasion. I'm like the purest of the pure. I mean, I'm a purist. And generally, I just eat very pure. And then every once in a while, I'll go and party and have raw food restaurants or eat some chocolate. But I've been doing that less and less, like maybe every 2 weeks, every month, once a month. And coconut aminos and nectars and that. Buckwheat groats, I know at our retreat, Antonio, the chef, uses it a lot for breakfast meals. he makes these crepes. He'll pour that on to give it a crunchy taste. He'll sometimes put it in like the crepes actually, where he's making fruit rolls, but with carob and things like this to where it has the crunch in it. I don't know what's in Earth Balance vegan butter for your potatoes. Maybe coconut oil would be the best. I don't know what's in Earth Balance vegan butter. I'd have to see. Lily Lovely writes, hey Matt, what are your favorite green juice recipes? Half carrot and the other half whatever green you can muster up. Carrots are extremely good. I live off of carrot juice. I've actually started working out a lot lately. I don't use weights. I just use my body, like push-ups and things like this. And my food is carrot juice. I'm telling you, I think it's gonna make me build up. It's like, so carrot juice is great for the teeth. That's what happened. I felt bad because this one guy was asking for help about his daughter's teeth last week's Hangout, and I went into the whole spiritual aspect, not to let that crap in and not to fear and worry about it, or that's the main. I would probably recommend carrot juice. It's really good for the teeth. My daughter, I got her off of orange juice that she was drinking ridiculous amounts, and I got her on carrot juice. Dude, you have no idea how happy I am about that. She even likes the green juice with it, but like the carrot, I got her guzzling it. Love that girl. Okay, I'm looking for the most nutritional, mineral-dense super juice ever. What would your suggestions be? Okay. My suggestions would be alfalfa has an incredible amount of minerals if you can get alfalfa. Carrot, spinach, and then to be honest with you, switch it up on an ongoing basis so you get a different variety of vitamins and minerals. And then other things to take that would be really good to boost dense nutrition. My two favorite micronutrients for minerals is Keent Essential, which we have on our website right now. They're little glass vials. I don't have any here. You take one of those, you're getting all the minerals the body needs for the day. You don't have to take it every day, but maybe for the first month you want to take it every day. It's 30 vials in one jar, in one box. And at cost right now, we have a Kamut powder. This is literally, I'm gonna go grab one right now. I'm at the warehouse. This stuff. Corson wheatgrass juice powder. It's really Kamut grass juice powder. The Corson wheatgrass juice powder is like a shot of wheatgrass juice on steroids. This is a super mineralized, nutritional dense, and enzyme-rich superfood. Corson is an heirloom ancestor of wheat and more nutritious than wheat. Grown in mineral-rich, nutrient-dense soil, grass has the ability to absorb the known minerals. This product is gluten-free. What she uses, Debbie, is Ocean's solution, which is minerals that the ocean has all the minerals the human body needs. And the Ocean solution is a very pure product. I know the people there, and people use it to feed their crops. And she does that with her wheatgrass. And so what we have in here, you guys. So Debbie, she was the owner of the largest wheatgrass producing company in the world at one point. You smell it, it's crazy. And this is one of my favorite micronutrients. And it's at cost right now. Normally $20, 30% off minimum. This is crazy. I'm like salivating. And she was even, I think, supplying Jamba Juice to like half of America. And she sold the company many, many years ago, and then she started up other things. But anyways, what we have here, this is this Corson juice powder. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Look at that. It's like glass sliver, it's shiny. And you could taste the minerals in it. And if you eat too much, look, there's like little glass pieces in there. And if you eat too much, you're gonna get a stomach ache. You gotta build up. I've done it many times because this is really sweet and salty, and I love the taste. I'm gonna get a total boost from this. Put some of this in your juice, or just eat it like I am. Dude, it's like wheatgrass on steroids. Yeah. What this is, how many ounces is it? 12 grams. I don't know how many ounces that is. It's a lot. You don't need a lot. My favorite green food. Excuse me. Let's see if I did good. It's not on my lips. But it's on my teeth. Excuse me, guys. So there you go. You want nutrient density? Quintessential and that. Cover your vitamins and minerals. And it's at cost, normally 20 bucks. If you buy one, it's 14. And if you buy another, it's like, if you buy 3, it's like 13 something or something like that. It's the best. I'm flying now. Rick Wilmarth writes, hi Matt, I have just started my indoor garden. I have my first tray of wheatgrass ready. We're just talking about wheatgrass. I'm growing sunflower and pea sprouts, and Amazon just delivered 4.5 pounds of buckwheat groats to sprout. I have a pitcher of Rejuvelac and seed butter in the fridge. Can you point me to a source for different recipes for the Ann Wigmore Life Foods lifestyle? That's so funny. Let me see if we still have it on our website. I wonder if she took it down. Okay, yeah. Recipes for Longer Life by Ann Wigmore is on our website right now. Also by Rebuild Your Health by Ann Wigmore. Just type in Ann Wigmore at therawfoodworld.com, and what's going to happen is you can get the book, all of her books. But she has a recipe book right there. Clear that. All right. So there you go. Ding, 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 ding. Just fixing that real quickly. Okay. Dude, that wheatgrass stuff, like, love it. It's good stuff. I have one in my house. Now I got 2 in my house. I'm gonna take this one home. Where'd the questions go? Here we go. Lake writes, dear Matt, what would a person who has epilepsy for many years eat and or take to help? It's more important what we don't eat than what we actually eat. So we want to eliminate processed foods. We were talking about this at the beginning of the Hangout. You probably saw it. At the list to the right here, there's a Whole Foods list. If you can eliminate everything from your diet, but what's on that list, you're on a Whole Foods diet. Now, epilepsy. So that's one aspect. That's the physical aspects. And you can watch that video, Healing Series #1. And then rewatch this Hangout if you haven't watched it from the beginning. Because there's a whole spiritual component in regards to anything out there. As I know, the doctors, the science is proven that the brain has blah, blah, blah. There's something that we can't see with our human eyes. That's why it's not talked about. And once that is taken care of, the physical healing happens. And when you do something like a Whole Foods diet, you're asking for more life. You're choosing more life, because what you have to go through in order to succeed on a cooked whole foods diet or a raw food diet, you need to have a desire for more life. You need to succeed with this focus work. Those cravings come in. If you don't do the focus work and spiritual work, you're sitting duck. You're not going to succeed. This is one reason why the raw food diet, it's almost like the placebo effect, working right for you right there. Many people fall in the midst of it. They're not strong enough spiritually. And then they're ready to do it. They're all pumped up. But then the desire for pizza comes in and they have an excuse, or any of these different things that had nothing to do with you, Janine. Sorry. But any of these different things, it's almost like we give ourselves excuses, and we're combating. We're in a war. We're in a spiritual war. So everything is going to be used, anything available is going to be used against you in order to stop you from succeeding. Because when you get more life, something else gets less life. And that's what we want. One of the viewers writes, vegans keep their sperm into old age. People who eat meat become impotent and some get heart attacks. No, that is BS. That will convert him. I heard this from a famous raw food chef. Of course you heard it. Raw food people are the most messed up out of them all. Look at me. I'm totally whacked out. I eat vegan because I don't support factory farming, which is prevalent everywhere. Because please buy free-range eggs, shellfish, and absolutely needed free-range animals if you really need the meat. I know many people who eat meat and are not impotent at 85 years old. But I appreciate that you don't support factory farming and blah, 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 blah. That's cool. All right, I'm not going to go into it. Jackson writes, just one salad for lunch makes a huge difference. I feel so good and light, clarity, energy. Dandelion and wild grass that's sticking out of the ground, like wild chives sauteed with some coconut oil and artisan salt mix for dressing, yum. Had been hard to eat well during the winter. My one fox pause right now is half a cup of coffee in the morning on an empty stomach. Try to drink water with lemon as it rips my stomach, but it's a habit. If you're doing everything else right and you're drinking some coffee, have fun. Jackson writes, do you have any opinion on sungazing? I heard it's great. And I stare at the sun for a few seconds, not too long, right at the sunset. It won't hurt your eyes, right? Weren't we brainwashed to think that if you look at the sun, you'll go blind? I've heard from a few people that sungazing is really good, like you're becoming more powerful. Look, the Creator is the purest source of energy that you can get. And that is my goal, is to go direct. When you do that, there's no fear of chemtrails because you're protected. There's no fear of EMFs because you're protected. There's no fear of anything. It's the fear of EMFs that causes the health issues that EMFs supposedly cause. It's the faith. Who, the number one, okay, Norman Walker lived to be 99. He's the only one who was really close to a raw food diet that I've seen to live to such an old age. I've never seen any other raw food eater live beyond like 90. Why is this? Because most of them relied on their own knowledge and know-how. Supposedly Bragg fell off of a surfboard and Wigmore died in a fire. Norman Walker, who lived to be the oldest, believed in the creator. He relied on him. And so when you fear, it's like there goes the faith. The one that determines your longevity is the creator. Raw food is probably not even the healthiest thing to do. Makes you mad. All right. When I get cravings, I just go to your website and order stuff from you, and the cravings go away. Thanks, David. We have some Curacao Confections Blondie bars, which are macaroons dipped in dark chocolate right now. They're really good. We've got the entire Vivi Bar gourmet line at cost. And we've got coconut bacon from Curacao Confections at cost too, which is really good. I should go break these things out right now. I don't want to leave you guys though. Maybe I could bring the computer. The lights are out there. Maybe we'll do that. Matt, his is so good what you're pointing out. Great motivation of truth for excellence, health. Thank you for putting it out to the world. We need to hear the truth. Even King David used Fibonacci frequencies to heal his people with instruments of music. It is time for people to awaken. Your skin looks great. Must be all the healthy food. Thanks. Can you talk about celebrity crushes? I'll have to look at it. Is it okay, or is it always a bad thing to get happy feelings that feel like love when thinking about a celebrity like David Bowie, for example? I'm thinking you might say this is draining our energy, but it goes against Abraham Hicks type theory that whatever makes you feel good raises your vibration. What about sexuality? Obviously, people that have to blind leading the blind. Obviously, people that have to think of kinky, disgusting fantasies to get turned on are suffering spiritual attack. Or maybe it is a physical problem. Am I correct in this? Okay. Okay. Firstly, you get happy feelings with your celebrity crush on David Bowie, for example, and the tingly vibrations that go, is a frill that you like to play with. Now, it's almost like an addiction, like a person addicted to heroin and crack. I'm not saying you're an evil person or you're doing anything wrong. What I'm saying is, because we all have our addictions. I'm not perfect. What I'm saying is, the effect of doing that results in losing spiritual energy, unfortunately. And then later you don't feel good. You feel more, you don't have the spiritual essence that you had. And it's almost like there's a thing that happens before the tingly vibrations go. That's what we want to be looking out for. Do the focus work and start doing that. You don't want to give up David Bowie and those tingly vibrations. You're addicted to it. You want it. You're hoping I'm going to say it's okay, and it is okay, but you're in a loop. And many people, whenever I talk about this type of thing, many people shoot me down because it's like for them to change, they're going to have to change their way of life. And they're like, how could being happy be not good? It's not happy. You're getting a drug hit is what you're getting when you do that. And if that makes you happy, that's fine, but there's suffering involved. If you knew what happens when you start to clean these addictions out, get rid of these things and all of these things that you're doing, and you clean, and for the first time, you have true peace to where you're actually seeing this reality that you are in. You actually see your own living hands. You see them, but do you really see them? Because if you really saw your hands, oh my goodness, it's like a total psychedelic world. Not that you want to be doing that, but what I'm saying is when you stop playing and doing things like that, and you go through a crazy transformation, which can happen in an instant with what we talked about, that infinity and beyond thing. You get a peace that you have never experienced before in your life. And this goes way beyond than that 10, 15-second orgasm you had thinking about David Bowie of the blah. This is an ongoing, like, it's like you just live like, thank you. Then you screw up, you feel all the crap that you still, sorry. Thank you. This is how we learn. So Abraham Hicks type theory, that whatever makes you feel good, raise your vibration. Maybe if you're like an artist who's like totally focusing and working, and you know, that's a totally different thing. But if you're going to bring that to sexuality, or not sexuality, but fantasizing about a crush on David Bowie, okay. Obviously, people that have to think of kinky, disgusting fantasies to get turned on are suffering spiritual attack, or maybe it is a physical problem. Am I correct in this? How do you know what other people are thinking and fantasizing about? It's impossible. Okay. Matt, how are you two lovely little girls and the lovely Angela? They're doing beautifully well. Thank you. Okay. One of the viewers writes. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay. This has been extraordinary so far. Thank you. If you are out of the matrix, do you jump out suddenly or gradually over time? Every situation and scenario is different. Everybody's on a different path. I am out 2 months ago, or maybe past year. I don't know how it works. I used to eat processed foods, watch reality TV, do nothing for myself, and ended up spending a fortune renting someone else's house. I would have owned my own land just 1 year before renting there, but I had no idea if you don't think for yourself. Once you are out of the matrix, though, shouldn't your money problems go away? Money problems don't exist. Money problems are simply fear, worry. That's it. That's money problems. It's another drainage of energy. And what you're relating, being pulled out of the matrix to, is, oh, I'm a vegan, because you're the vegan who's always talking about all this. So I'm better than other people because people who follow me will have sperm until they're 95. No, you judging others is just an example of being in the matrix. Being in the matrix is an energetic, spiritual thing. All of these things that you have done by not watching reality TV, stop eating processed foods, does nothing for pulling you out of the matrix. What it's done to you is putting you in a space to judge more. I apologize. I'm getting a little rough here. And maybe that's not the case. But what I'm saying is it has nothing to do with these physical things that you've done. It does not make you better by doing any of these. I know people who eat animal protein, bread, all sorts of things and are extremely close to the creator. They watch reality TV, but they are pulled out of the matrix. I'm saying when all of a sudden you realize you're judging and then you go right when that vibration comes, you say no to it, because just the act of judging, that vibration, all of this is getting pulled out of the matrix. You get in an argument with someone, all of a sudden I am right, or this or that, this. I just found a job a week or two ago, but for about 6 or 8 months, I was wimpily without work. Just a bit here and there. Now I'm running to file other people's taxes, like you are still running around trying to work. It doesn't make sense. Like it should be the other way around, out of the matrix and showing you find freedom, which does not equate to being confined to bills. No, has nothing to do with that. This reality, this system, sometimes we have to be a part of the system in order to feed ourselves food. It's totally fine, normal. I have another question, sorry. Same person. You were talking about the trauma at the beginning, so then I thought of this. Like you use your focus to move forward. Don't dwell on the trauma. If you have any suggestions on post-traumatic stress, please let us know. Articles on the internet say it's a crippling disease even for life. I don't think it's for life, but it is, believe me, agonizing, like you are just shaking. What did I say about the system? It's a battle out there. The system from all angles, articles, magazines, people are going to try to keep you in. I have had normal trauma, like you hear something as a kid, your older sister beats you down when you're a kid. You're holding on to this, like, oh, I have this. It's like, oh, just normal stuff like that. And then I've had real trauma as I'm an activist and someone, though they could skin me, so to speak, and hold me down. I was kidnapped for a few days, and I also had many quick evictions, loss of home, and that's all considered extreme trauma. I don't have any physical diseases, but I do have this post-traumatic stress, and like essential oils and exercise, meditation, there's no way to even get rid of it. The trauma happened. Try your best to not to focus on it. Know that it wasn't you, and know that it wasn't people in the matrix who did it. It's not, you don't even know what the matrix is. As they're evil and don't know it. No, everybody has good in them to some extent. It's just how much. Thanks again. This hangout is unbelievably great. How do you know all this? Thanks again. Jesus Christ. So, okay. Post-traumatic stress. Okay, so you went through some things. We've all been through things. You said the word kidnapped. So now I'm supposed to be gentle on you because that's like a serious thing. You have this belief because of these things that it's okay to have this post-traumatic stress, making this your crippling thing to hold on to for the rest of your life. No, I don't have post-traumatic stress. It's simply the person who worries about their weight, dude, is like deeply rooted. Look, you need to go to the creator for help on that one. Angelica writes, I love Quintessential and use my last vial. Tell me again which one to buy. The 3.3. 0.9 is 1/3. it's diluted by 1/3 of the 3.3. So I always get the 3.3. And if you want to dilute it, you dilute it yourself and you get 3 times the amount. Also been putting a vial into my gallon of distilled water to sip all day. That's awesome. Wonderful. Thank you for all the wonderful discussion tonight. Peg writes, I never did the water fast for a few days a week or one day like you should when starting raw foods. I never had the guts. I guess I got hungry. Can you drink green juice or raw chocolate on it like it's really only water? Peg, the best fast that anybody can do is simply eliminate processed foods. That is an ongoing fast for the rest of your life. It's slower. You can enjoy. If you eliminate processed foods, you don't have this concept of you have to fast for a few days before you do juice is absolutely made up and nonsense. You eliminate stuff, you eliminate coffee from your intake, you go through withdrawals, you get coffee breath, you get a headache. You eliminate processed foods, you go through the withdrawals, you get the headaches, you get the cravings. You do the fast, you're just going even more insane. And most likely it's gonna be less gentle. So all you gotta do is just start slowly, eliminate the processed foods. If you do this fast to get into raw foods, and then it backfires against you and eat the other stuff, then I'm scared to just get so hungry. Can't you just have salad, or is it really ideal to have a water fast? Just eat salad. This person says, start with a water fast or else. No. I must be a wimp. I really should try it. No, I recommend don't trying it. Life is too short. I feel old. I forget my profession. I knew of it for about 15 years. Ridiculous, right? It's a living tragedy to forget your job. Look, you simply slowly just improve your diet and you did it. Eliminate processed foods, you're done. You don't have to worry about anything ever again. Let's eliminate the processed foods. To the right here, whole foods diet list. Eliminating everything from your diet, but what's on that list, you're done. Don't even look ever again at your diet. You're done. If you want to take it further after that, go closer to raw, be my guest. You don't have to ever fast, because when you start eliminating processed foods, you are fasting. You're eliminating all of the things that cause disease and low energy, lethargic, and all these other things. You eliminate all that. You're fasting from all of that stuff for good. You're done. One of the viewers writes, I didn't mean to start an issue. Sorry. Don't worry. I'm apologizing for being a little bit rough. I meant if that woman told her husband that raw people are not impotent, he will change. Even if the placebo effect, heard from Car's, okay, whatever. She said vegans keep their sperm into old age. I saw a man with Morgellons, so bad. What is this? A crush on someone unobtainable brings pain. A crush on anybody brings pain. Okay. So what we're gonna do now, we're going in the warehouse, everybody. Let's turn on some lights. It's nighttime here. That's not what we want. We're gonna show you guys some things that are at cost. We already showed you the, what do you call it? The wheatgrass juice powder. Someone wanted to get some cool stuff real quickly. Matt's stone ground almond butter, straight from my stone grinders. People are going nuts over this. This is liquid caramel goodness. It's just straight almond butter. Nothing has been seen like this before. I've got 40 jars going right now and 8 stone grinders about to empty. Okay. So the things that are at cost, if you have like if you want to, we're in the cold room right now, by the way. Where are these things? Okay. We were talking about satisfying the addiction, Debbie Bullion was saying, she just goes to our website and orders. What we have here that are at cost, where did we keep them? We're gonna find them right about now, any second. Close this door. Here we go. Down here? Gotta be here somewhere. Right. These coconut butters are at cost, by the way. It's pretty cool. By GoPals, lowest price coconut butter I've ever seen. Dang, I don't know what to do with them. Okay, what we have are these Blondie bars, which are from Krakow Confections. They are macaroons, and they're the best macaroons I've ever had in the raw foods movement, dipped in dark chocolate. It should be right here, but oh well. They're probably in overstock, and they just picked the last one. Yeah. Right here. Oh well. I ain't going in the overstock area. But anyways, oh, here they are. Ding, 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 ding. These are at cost right now. They're called the Blondie bars. And this macaroon is absolutely incredible. It reminds me of when I was younger and I used to go in my mom's refrigerator and eat the sweetened coconut. It was like sugary. They're just really good. They're at cost right now. And we also have March's at cost products going on at the same time. These maca butter cups from Lulu's are insane. We've also got Love truffles from them that are incredibly good. And salted caramels and raspberry rapture. Those are all at the discounted price. I'll show you the coconut bacon now. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. Coconut bacon. This is like, they used liquid smoke. Coconut chips. Vegan coconut bacon. All right, guys. I guess that's it. This is the Kinti Central, everybody. The best mineral supplement there is. This is the 3.3. We'll open this box right here. And what you get inside are 30 glass vials of the best minerals on the planet. All right. All right. So there you have it, everybody. 2-hour hangout, rocking the house. And this is Matt Monarch. Answered all the questions. And we'll see you next time. Next week, Tuesday, Raw Food World.